Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's your t-shirted historian. You know, it hasn't been a bad week. It's kind of like my first real week of vacation. And I got nothing done at all this week. And I'm embarrassed about it. But at the same time, it's so weird getting used to a little bit of freedom, even if it is just for a short time. Mostly been checking out independent games and things like that, and found a lot of them that were really enjoyable and exciting. But apparently the real news is a game that I already owned and didn't know I owned. Well, I forgot I'd owned it, really. Is making all the big hits today. And I'm hoping Dash will show up because he's been playing it on his stream. But some years back, I kickstarted a game called Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. And it came with quite a few expansions, including like the Red Death and some other stuff. And at the time, I mostly bought it because the miniatures just looked insanely good. And they still do. And I thought, I'm going to have fun painting this up. Well, by the time it arrived, the person I used to enjoy playing board games with, my best friend, he'd already died of COVID. So it kind of showed up. I looked through this stuff and thought, this would have been really fun to play. You know, put the boxes and pieces and stuff up on my shelf, and I haven't really messed with it since, and it's been sitting there. But part of that Kickstarter included a free download of the Steam version of Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. So I've had it in my Steam inventory because it just released in full not too long ago. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching my YouTube channels and the game's popping up on all the news and everything. Endymion and everyone else is talking about it and how it's a little independent game is just beating the crap out of all the big gaming companies and all that stuff. And I'm like, really? Tainted Grail? So I thought, maybe I should, check this out. So I go over to Steam and, go on a store page, and and it says, this is already in your library. And I'm like, I already got this thing? Well, hell. So I loaded it up on my drive, and I started playing it. And man, it's good. It's so good that I was actually pushed to, upload 30 minutes of my gameplay footage to the channel, which you can watch. Hopefully not right this minute, but after the show. Just to kind of get people interested in it, to see what it's like and what it's about. But for me, it basically kind of scratches the Skyrim itch. And when I say that, I'm somebody who actually bought the remastered Oblivion, thinking that would scratch the Skyrim itch. And it doesn't. Yes, they remastered it, they redid some of the combat, and they made it look nicer and all this other stuff like that. But it still doesn't. It doesn't touch Skyrim. Skyrim was such a cool game. And I have many, many, many hours on all the various versions of it, just like I do with Fallout 3. And yes, I know Bethesda's basically tried to put it on every single possible computer gaming thing they can, refrigerators, and digital watches, and I don't know what else, Nokia phones, I guess. They're going to try to put it on anything they possibly can. Probably because they know that the next Elder Scrolls is not going to be very good, from what I'm hearing. But more on that later. So anyway, yeah, Tainted Grail is more or less like Skyrim, in my opinion. It's got a lot of the same beats. It's got a lot of the same mechanics. It's got a lot of the same just enjoyable things about it. The main difference is, instead of some weird fantasy Viking world. You're in the realm of Arthurian legends, Avalon, and stuff like that. And there's a whole story that goes into it that I don't want to spoil for anybody who's interested, but it's not a super expensive game. I mean, yes, I got mine as part of my Kickstarter package, so I have to say, yes, I paid for it, but I kind of paid for it in kind of a roundabout way. I didn't directly jump onto Steam and buy it. But it's not too expensive if you want to buy it. And I'm going to be inviting folks up here to talk about it. That's why I'm hoping Dash shows up today, because I know he's been playing it on his channel, and I know a lot of other people have been also. And one guy, I jumped on his DMs and I, basically throttled him and told him, dude, you need to play this. You need to play this now. Is this guy.
Hello.
Hi, Graham.
Hello.
So did you play it?
No, I'm still playing Clair Obscura.
Over Tainted Grail?
Yes.
You.
One game at a time.
Do you love the French or something?
They have their upsides, much as it pains an Englishman to say so.
Fine. Okay, you'll get around to it though, right?
Probably, yes.
I was hoping you had gotten around to it a little bit so we could talk about it today, but oh no, Kim got to let me down.
Got to finish my other game first.
Okay, fine. Anyway, we've got some other folks for you here. We've got Mr. Hunter, the Ultra American TTRPGer. Hi, Hunter.
Here's Ultra.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. Work week kicked my butt, but I'm just kind of sitting back, relaxing. Got some gaming in here and there, so all's good in the neighborhood.
Okay. And I've got a guest today. I've been trying to get him on the show for a few weeks now. We've had a few hits and misses, and finally got him to show up. And of course, I tried to get everybody else on our panel to show up, and they haven't made it. So, yay. But that's just kind of par for the course, I guess. But here we have the Common Nerd. How you doing, man? You're muted.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting I got a manual button over here now. No, I was going to say, if I couldn't show up when your things are going broke, I mean, how much better could it possibly be? When else would I show up if things are all broken and busted? I was watching that trailer in the background, though. That game does look pretty dope. I added it to my wish list. So, yeah. But no, happy to be here. Glad I finally made it. Sorry about missing so many times. I have 6 kids. Life is crazy.
Bro, wrap that rascal.
Nah. The Lord said, go forth and be fruitful. And I am listening.
Amen.
You're the reason people like me and Grim don't have any kids, because he's like, you guys made plenty for us to keep the species alive.
Whoa, clearly that ain't working out, because we're facing a population decline. Everybody's going to have at least 3. 2 to replace you, and 2 to replace you and your wife, and 1 to expand. That's the way our economy works. It's true. It's sad. It's sad, but it's true. That's the whole way our economy is based. So, yeah.
I'm just going to dress up as Batman and then clean out an orphanage.
That's a good one.
Adoption's a great way to go. My wife was adopted. Yeah.
Well, it's all right. I mean, what's wrong with that? Oh, come on.
I mean, yeah, your way is definitely less paperwork. There's no doubt about that.
That's kind of like Batman's retort for everything. It's like, hey, Batman, shouldn't we do this? My parents were killed. Okay.
Yeah, that's automatically. It's like, that's automatically his safe space word for everything.
It
what
is.
do you mean? My mom and dad are dead. Don't talk to me like that. Tells that to Joker. Joker's like, damn, man, I'm sorry, buddy. Damn, Marsh, I get it. I'm sorry.
You experiencing a little bit of childhood trauma there, Batsy? But all right. Well, I threw this together. Well, I shouldn't say I threw it together, but this is a short, and I use that term sort of loosely, clip that I pulled up from the game. This is an actual in-game cutscene, and it's pretty cool. And if this doesn't get you pumped up, nothing else will about the game. We really won't get copyright claim for music. I don't think so. I wish the in-game graphics looked this awesome.
Yeah, it never looks as good as the cinematic. Cinematic still always looks great.
Yeah.
This is
That's
what
one thing-
trailers are supposed to do, though.
Yeah. I didn't realize how polished the game was until I started playing it.
That's awesome. That's always kind of a nice thing to go into and find, right? Especially with all the broken, buggy stuff we've been getting lately. You just go in there and like, oh, wow, this works. Like, without any problems. Like, yay! Feel like I need to get a heavy flamer now.
I walked into a demonic.
That's what I'm saying, right? Ironcaster, like, fucking go get it. Like,
The sacrifice has arrived.
yeah, exterminatus, I think,
opposite.
at this point.
More like the opposite.
Something's coming back. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, that's supposed to be King Arthur, because like I said, the whole thing is set in the Arthurian myths. And by the way, if you like that soundtrack, I hunted it down. Even if you buy the soundtrack, you will not get that particular track on it, which I found out much to my aggression. But I did hunt it down, and at first I thought it was Einar Selvik, but it's not. It is a guy named Gildir and Danheim. And the track is called Ymir, and it's on Bandcamp. So yes, the singing is actually, Viking stuff, even though it's Arthurian.
Nice.
But
No,
The
the
hell,
whole
who-
time that song was playing, right on beat was the fish from Finding Nemo going ha ooh wah hee ha oh 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 ha ooh wah hee ha oh oh oh. Like right on beat with it. It was like a perfect going through my head.
Hunter spoils everything.
Right?
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
it's so godly and manly, and you're like, yeah. And then he's like, all I could think of was Finding Nemo.
You're like, but Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my
Hunter,
fault
we-
I'm autistic.
We need to make you grow some hair on your balls, sir.
If I can't show them off because then we'll get this channel taken down.
Yeah, I don't want to see them. We just need to make you grow it. But anyway, yes, if you like the track, he's up on Bandcamp. You can get his whole discography for like $66, which is quite a bargain actually. And he's good. If you like this kind of thing, and I know a lot of people do. Yeah, pseudo Viking stuff. Yeah, it is. It's modern day Viking stuff, but it's still good.
It's a little genre we like to call pseudo Viking intellectual.
Pseudo Viking intellectuals. But yes, I was hoping Grim was playing it, so then we could like discuss all the Arthurian connections and all the legendary Camelot stuff. I mean, they even, Arthur even spells Camelot with a K.
Ooh.
So it's like, and the whole deal is like, the story is kind of like in the ancient past, this plague called the Red Death was sweeping over the lands. And in order to save all of his people, Arthur had to lead them all to this mystic land called, actually, no, it wasn't it was the Weirdness, I think, or was it the Red? It's one of the two. I can't remember which. But he leads them all to the land of Avalon. and he builds Camelot, which is supposed to be this great fortress, kingdom, castle thing, and supposedly he led all his people to peace and prosperity away from the Red Death and the weird. But the problem is he died because like all kings do. And rather than leaving him to rest in death, apparently his people keep bringing him back over and over and over to try to solve their problems. And every time they do, the weirdness grows. And the weirdness is like this kind of otherworldly state that I don't quite understand yet because I haven't gotten far enough into the game to totally clue in on it all. But yeah, it's a really good plot. It's a really big, long game. It's lots of fun. You could, if you want to do the old stealth archer build, from all of the Elder Scrolls games, you could totally do it. The archery system is actually pretty good. It's got an alchemy system where you can just kind of throw shit in a beaker and have fun with it. There's a food making system that's even better. Because you literally can throw like two things that don't make any sense together and try to cook a meal out of it. It's got different armor sets and weights and balances. It's got character development. It's got, two-sword fighting, two-handed sword fighting, and everything else. I mean, you could play it from third-person view or first-person view, depending on what you favor. I mean, I can't recommend the game enough. I mean, it looks beautiful too. So,
just so I get brought up, it was just that Claire 33.
No, this is Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon.
Oh, okay, no, I haven't heard of this game.
See, nobody's heard of this game, but it's kicking all the AAA games in the ass because it's not a AAA game. It's made by a smaller studio. And it's part of the Tainted Grail series, board games, which, like I said, I got access to the game because I kickstarted that game a long time ago. So, yeah, they just now finally released it. It's, what does it cost up on Steam? Anyway, I didn't even look. Like I said, I didn't have to pay for it straight out. I paid for it through
The Fall of Avalon is $44.99 currently on Steam.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You said it was a board game?
Yes, there is a board game called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and it also has add-ons like the Red Death, and there's another standalone expansion that's called Tainted Grail. I think it's War of Kings or something. I don't have that expansion because I didn't see a point in kickstarting any more of that stuff when I wasn't ever going to get around to playing it. But
Currently on Amazon, the Fall of Avalon, the board game, almost $130 alone.
Yeah, I paid about $300 or $400 for the whole Kickstarter. The miniatures are huge and they're gorgeous looking, especially the menhirs.
Yep.
But yeah, maybe this kind of encourages me to maybe start pulling them out and painting them. Although this comes out and I get all excited for it, and then of course at the same time, I get my Zombicide White Death boxes in, and I'm like, more stuff to paint. Which Grim actually did an unboxing on all his White Death stuff on his channel. How much of it did you get? Did you get everything, or?
No, I didn't get everything. I didn't bother with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all of that.
Oh, I saw that at my local game store when I stopped in just to get some new dice a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
White Death, Frozen Fortress, and the campaign set thing.
But you didn't buy any extras like the Terracotta Walkers?
Beasts and the Japanese characters.
Yeah, I backed the whole thing. I wanted to see it. And hey, it's Eclectic Goat.
Yep, we have a goat that wandered into our midst.
Yes, well, she's gonna be wandering onto our show Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Well, I'm excited about that.
I've been feeling a bit of a painting bug again, and I don't know if it's just because the weather finally got good enough that it makes me want to actually do something and be productive. But I've kind of since gone out and spent a whole bunch on paints because, like, I went ahead and if I could actually pick this whole thing up here. Nope, I can drop things off. I went and picked up a whole bunch of speed painter and the whole little display stand because I was like, well, I can't just have these paints and let them sit on the desk. How am I supposed to read what paint I have?
Mm-hmm. You're obviously enjoying your speed painting set.
Oh yeah, and
it's pretty good. It helps you with a lot of stuff.
And then I just kind of keep going to the same 3 or 4 paints, and I have all of that. I was like, hey, I'm gonna need. I have red, but I need a little more variety of red, and then I just only use that red.
I feel you. And despite what it says, speed painting is not going to replace your regular paints because you're still going to want to do highlights and all these other things, and that's going to require regular paint. But speed painting is really good for base coats. Huh?
Well, yes, but also if I just have an entire army of minis I want to get some paint slapped on, it does a great job of giving me the basics so I can actually kind of get them shoved off the desk.
It's I recommend the speed paint set stuff for Warhammer players who are doing tournament because Warhammer tournaments, I believe, unless they've changed the rules, require you to have at least a minimum of 3 colors of paint. It may be up to 5 now, but it used to be 3 colors of paint on your miniatures before they were considered to be board ready to be used in a tournament.
Of course, I've also I want to pick up a 3D printer, and I've now made the mistake to just keep running through it, printing stuff off. So now I have I'm slowly filling up fishing tackle boxes with little pieces. There's heads and arms and bodies, and it looks like I'm just a little tiny serial killer.
I put all my speed paints in ammo crates because I had so many of them. I was kind of I got no room to keep them on my shelf anymore. So because I bought the super duper mega all in paint set of speed paint 2.0 back when it first came out because I got my tax money that year and I'm kind of like, oh look, this just came out and damn it, there goes my tax money. But yeah, they're fun to use. I've used them. I'm glad you're enjoying them.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we will have to do some painting together.
Oh, absolutely. I've got the other camera set up, although my desk space is a little more cramped now because I have all this paint. I have these nice little tall pots of paint that are just standing there and taunting me, telling me why aren't you painting something?
Oh, that's the one thing I will always loathe, and that is the damn GW paint pots. I think those were an abomination even from the very first time that I used them way back in the day, and they haven't gotten any better. Although the ones way back in the day, I can attest because I still have a bunch of mine from the original set that I bought way back when I got my 40K book, my Rogue Trader book. The lids are made of a plastic that gets brittle over time. So they won't last you forever, that's for sure. I don't know. What do you think, Grim? You're really cool. I know you paint miniatures too.
Barely. I used to. Speed paints? What's that? Back in my day, we crushed berries to make paint. So yeah, I don't have anything to say because I'm tremendously out of practice and out of date.
Oh. Nerd, do you do any?
I have plans to do a whole bunch because I have boxes of shame. And I watch a lot of videos of other people's techniques and how they paint their stuff. But no, I have not found the time or the afternoon or the energy to actually sit down and figure out how to paint. But I do have all the supplies to do it, except for an airbrush. Well, I do have one. I just don't have a compressor for it. Either way, I need to actually get a proper one. But
you might want to check your audio. It's roboting a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit crackly. Yeah.
Really? Okay, let me make sure I'm coming through the right mic.
That happens to me a lot.
Should be. Yeah, I'm coming through the right one. Let me see.
It almost sounds like you got a loose connection or something.
That's weird because I know I just got a brand new cord. It shouldn't be loose. How about now?
Mm-mm. Still a little bit
Not doing-
breaky.
Really? All right. Hold on.
I guess we'll live with it.
Hey, choose your words wisely.
Yeah, no kidding. Sell your boxes of shame. It'll put your kids through. Yeah, that don't even. Yeah, now I feel bad.
All
I-
30
that's
of
what-
his kids.
Yeah, that's why I don't waste money on plastic, and why the running joke is that's why it's called 40K, because that's how much in debt you'll be afterwards.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know who can afford to play 40K.
I mean, it's how about now?
So
It's one of
breaky.
those really, I literally unplugged my cord and plugged it back in. I have no fucking clue. Then I really
have no idea.
Because yeah, I was about to say because I've got like insane gear. I don't know why that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So.
For all we know, it's probably just StreamYard wanting to be a son of a bitch again.
Well, and that's always a very good possibility too, because like that StreamYards has been hating me like nobody's business as of late. Like it's been really, really bad. But yeah, no, I still have stuff to put together and all of that other kind of stuff too. I mean, if you're just wanting to play like the smaller games and stuff like that, then Warhammer 40K is not that bad. But yeah, if you're wanting to get like tournament level, like the 1,500 point army, depending on what army you get into, really depends on how expensive it is. Because the problem is you get into like people want to play like Astra Militarum, like the armies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to play an army, dude, you gotta have like 500 models because the army guys are worth such little points. You know what I mean? Whereas, you want to play as big stompy mechs where then you can get away with like 4 or 5 miniatures. Now, given those ones are much more expensive, but you can get a lot of stuff secondhand, eBay. A lot of people hate Games Workshop, so the only stuff they'll buy is secondhand. So eBay or, 3D printer go brr, is always a possibility as well. So there's plenty of ways to dive your foot into it. And the other thing too is just because you don't play the game doesn't mean you can't be into Warhammer 40K. There's 5 million books with if you like horror, if you like science fiction, if you like anime like waifu stuff. Like there's some books that are kind of leading towards that stuff. There's some like dark horror stuff. Like you want some hardcore soldier like war porn, kind of like if you're into like World War II stories. Like there's great books about the Astra Militarum. So like there's a million ways to get into it and not have to like literally sell one of your children or have to pay the price of gas a couple of years ago. So
See, that was why I thought you were having so many kids.
Nah, mine are too dark to make much money in Mexico. So
Oh, here we go. Let's see. We got Australian $5 from Mercurius today. Thank you very much, sir. You say you have no miniatures and you never will. If you're spending money, it'll be on books, and that's okay. I have friends who are like that too. They don't do miniatures at their table whatsoever. They just do books. They all do theater of the mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody's got their thing. And here's the truth. I love painting miniatures, and I love to see them on the table. But the truth of the matter is, I rarely ever get my miniatures to the table because nobody really cares about them. It's like I paint up something really super duper nice that just looks absolutely gorgeous. I set it down on the table and everybody's like, oh, that's cool. And then they just kind of go on with their life. And I feel crushed because I'm like, man, I spent 2 weeks on this.
I got a succubus mini I won in the drawing, and of course, when she arrived, I mean, she was fully painted, and her wings broke off. But thankfully, they broke off in one piece, so it just was a simple super glue appliance, and I was able to get it. But I just leave it on my shelf. I do nothing with it.
Yeah, I've heard at those Warhammer tournaments, pretty much carrying a bottle of super glue along with your miniatures is like the usual thing because stuff gets knocked off the table, broken, or whatever. But seriously, it's like the one thing that all this stuff has taught me is that miniature painting is really for yourself. I don't even do competitions, and I could do competitions, but the reason I don't do competitions for miniatures, it's not because I suck. I know there's people that are way better than me out there. I mean, just hands down, absolutely. I don't think I'm the best at all. I'm better than some, but I'm not as good as most. But the thing is, it's like a lot of those competitions and stuff are political, man. They're popularity contests, and there's no reason to. So the truth is, if you want to paint miniatures, do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you're trying to compete with somebody or be better than somebody, or just do it because you want to be better.
It's just sort of unfortunate how everything's kind of had politics forced into it. I mean, you look at the other big challenge to Warhammer with the tabletop stuff is what, Trench Crusade, and even that has its own major problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where like they're hitting on like Arch for stuff he's said and done, and they're kind of they're not directly but sort of inadvertently putting their own politics into the game itself. It's turned into a whole nightmare, and I'm starting to wonder if that one's even going to be able to maintain the success it's had at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I owe Mercurius a clip real quick, so why don't we play one for him?
Oh, yeah.
And I think this one's kind of appropriate.
Come on, you motherfucker! Oh, shit! God damn it! Same shit, different day!
Nice.
I really do like that guy whenever I see his stuff pop up.
I do too.
That's how I feel trying to paint eyes.
Yes, yes, or anything that requires a delicate touch. I literally, you know what I do? I have to sit there and hold the brush, and then I stop breathing. I hold my breath while I'm doing it, just because it's like the gun thing where like you're trying to.
That's what I was gonna say. In between breaths.
But you can't do it for too long because otherwise your hands and stuff will start shaking anyway from trying to hold your breath.
Take some tramadol first.
Yeah, or diazepam.
Fucking t-shirt and historian. He passes out in his fucking paint. Then what happened? He was trying to paint eyes all at once, and he just passed out. Man, he was holding his breath for too long.
It came to it. Everything was painted.
See, if it was me, I would just put them all on a thing, and I would just spray paint them all just one color, and that would be my army.
You just paint him in.
Hunter ruins everything.
you just need like some little clip like Hunter ruins everything.
Seriously, it's like I've taught people how to Zenithal Prime, telling them even this is better than just leaving them bare plastic, and then I have dudes getting up on me go, oh, I'm not gonna paint my miniatures just because you said so, t-shirt. And I'm just like, okay, you engage in your own form of dumb fuckery. Just don't tell me about it.
Just spray all an olive drab and go on Sensible Marines or something.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like a little bit of a bad scientist here. I have like pill bottles, aka test tubes of like disassembled people.
Ah, my boy, you're learning. You have joined the club. You have joined the club, sir.
Oh no! See, I have the advantage of like having a 90-year-old grandfather.
So he's got lots of pill bottles. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just gonna
hold on a minute.
My windowsill here.
You have to excuse. I think I left my bowl up here too. But yeah, that's really expensive paint holder for brushes. Yeah. These are like one of a kind. They're handmade in China, and they're very expensive. So yeah, take good care of them. Like you take care of all your brushes. Which let me tell you, all these some bitches are very expensive. But
I find it weird that one person needs that many brushes when you could probably get like a set of 5. This is just me thinking.
Well, okay. When I started out, I used to buy the cheap ass brushes from Walmart, and those worked for a little while until I started getting good and finding out that I needed more and more brushes. Because here's the deal, man: miniature painters are hard on their brushes. Yeah. See Ironcaster there? That's me normally.
Grim Jr. in the bottom, showing off all his brushes.
If you put your hair in a bun, you can put the rest of them back there.
Yeah, and see these.
Yep,
This
there
is.
you
I have like 2 or 3 tubes of these because I bought these ghost brushes when off their Kickstarter, and I bought like 5 tubes of them because I'm like, I'm gonna go through these some bitches so fast. I'm gonna need that many when I'm painting. But
Right. Well, just
Yeah,
to explain
we-
to you, Hunter, the issue is like paint can be fairly damaging to the brushes, especially if you don't get it out properly and right away. Also, like the certain painting techniques might force you to have to smudge the brush up a bit.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that some pigments are harder to get out of brushes than others. So, like, I know dudes who have an entire brush set that is relegated to a single color that's really strong. Like blue is a very, very strong color, and no matter how much you tend to wash your brush, there's always just a little bit that manages to stay in there somehow, especially if it gets up under the ferrule. But,
Like stripper glitter.
yeah, basically, it's like when you're
it's everywhere.
when you're going down on her, and it's like, what the hell is this? Why is my tongue all shiny?
Microplastics.
Yes.
brushing your teeth for days, getting that shit out.
Yeah, it's like it's still on my toothbrush. What the hell? No.
No, did you see what Eclectic Go commented? It was right after Mercurious's paid post.
Which one?
Her husband cleaned out 75% of his collection when they got married, and then put a down payment on their house right after.
Holy shit! Nice.
I believe it. I believe it.
I'm nowhere near that bad. I got like 2 boxes, 3 or 4
That's
boxes.
that's probably the only
That's
way
all
you'll
I
be
got.
able to afford a house in 2025 at this point, is you have to sell all like the 3/4 of your possessions before you can afford anything else.
So-
I don't know.
Crash at some
So-
point because so many things are just sitting forever.
So okay, Grim. Apparently, they just made Billy Piper the next Doctor for Doctor Who.
Right? I fucking saw that shit on
What?
Twitter earlier. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
they
it
not
makes
learn
sense
the
to
first
watch that
time
episode.
around?
No, I
Dude,
like
fuck
Billy
yeah.
Piper. I like Billy Piper as an actress very, very much. I'm excited about
Yeah.
that.
It's
But
If
an obvious
it makes
play.
no sense.
It's just trying to grab some headlines, and it's
Yeah.
it's another novelty casting. I think is the problem.
Well,
So
the other thing
she's
about
gone on. Sorry, she's gone on since she was first on Doctor Who and done a whole bunch of pretty good serious acting. So maybe it will work. I don't know.
I loved her in Penny Dreadful. She was great
Oh,
in
yeah.
Penny Dreadful.
she was great in Penny Dreadful. I honestly think this is just because Disney doesn't want to fund Doctor Who anymore. And that's the only reason BBC was able to even make these last 2 seasons. I honestly think this is nothing more than a desperate attempt by the BBC to attempt to excite hype and reinvigorate some kind of hype inside of Doctor Who in order to convince someone else out there in the world to continue to fund Doctor Who, because the BBC considers Doctor Who such a high priority property that they're willing to either drastically have to cut back the budget or in some kind of desperate attempt find someone else to fund it. Who knows? Maybe they'll be like Disney and go to the Saudis, and the Saudis will fund the next season of Doctor Who. But like that's what I think this Billy Piper thing honestly is, and it surprises me that the rumors around it were true. Holy shit!
You think the Saudis would fund a show with a female-led cast?
No.
Exactly.
No. Right. Well, that's the best part. Because here's the thing: you're not going to see this for years if they don't find somebody to fund this, or it'll be in the most drastically reduced version you've ever seen.
Hang on though. At the same time though, they're also kind of like a co-owner and funding wrestling now. Like at the end of the day,
that's what I was gonna say. They're too busy funding
That's
wrestling.
true.
they'll pay for that stuff outside of their outside of their home. But the thing is
Well,
stands out
but
to me
all the
is-
LGBT.
The thing that stands out to me ultimately though is the fact that this is the same thing we saw with the return of David Tennant, the return of
How'd that work out?
yeah, and that's the problem. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a bump, but unless they can ultimately get the stories to warrant it or to play off of those plot threads with Bad Wolf, I don't know if they're necessarily going to be able to do well with this.
Dude, they have thrown everything they could. They have thrown the kitchen sink at this season in a desperate attempt to get people interested because they brought the Ronnie back. Now they're bringing Billy Piper back, and it's just like they got nothing. Those ratings are in the toilet.
I've got one card up my sleeve they could play. I don't know if they'll play it though.
What's that?
Bring
Captain
Capaldi
Jack.
back.
Oh,
Oh,
No, he's persona non grata still.
yeah, in the United Kingdom. Well, they brought him back for Dr. Karen, a Dr. Karen episode. They actually brought him
Karen.
back. And I heard it was absolutely abysmal. I didn't watch it. I stopped watching after Capaldi left. Well, actually, I'd lie. That's not true. I did give Dr. Karen her own. I did give Dr. Karen's first season a chance, and I was just bored to tears. I was like, some of these episodes, I'm like, I feel like you're trying to make a political statement to me, but I don't know what you're trying to say, especially when you're talking about Indian and Pakistani politics, which I don't know fucking dick about. So yeah, and I just got bored to tears and stopped watching.
It's like we don't know about it, nor do I really care about it in my entertainment.
Right, exactly. That made it even worse. So that's why on Sunday night, Sunker, Mr. Grant Gregor, and I get together to watch When Who Was Good. We're actually going through Capaldi right now, and I'm loving it.
So
Shameless
when
plug.
Doctor Who started, it was always part of the BBC's remit to include sort of educational content in anything they did. So Doctor Who was a huge thing that would fit into that because they could travel into real history and they could encounter real history, and so it had an educational aspect to it. I think they were trying to bring that back, but it just doesn't jive with New Who running around shrieking everywhere. It requires the slower pace, which they weren't willing to do. So,
Oh yeah.
Personally, I would like to see a return to that because I enjoyed that stuff. I've gone through and I've done the entire marathon of the old stuff. Like I think that Colin Baker got the short stick.
yeah,
he did.
Still a strong voice.
Sorry.
Rustin McCoy was
very upset.
No, it's
Rustin
funny that
McCoy
you-
was good, but the effects and the scripts were also terrible.
Well, okay.
Oh yeah.
My friends and I had a discussion about that at one point, and we concluded that as the special effects on Doctor Who got better, the stories got worse.
Yeah, story's cheap, so you
Yeah.
can craft a story without spending a lot more money. But yeah,
Especially a good story.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say the effects have really gotten better in the modern era. Not even with Dr. Karen, and certainly not with Nakuti. I wouldn't say the effects have really gotten any better. The stories have definitely gotten a whole fucking lot worse.
Well, I mean, when you put politics ahead of your
Oh yeah.
fan base,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I mean, Russell T Davies flat out said he was going to. He flat out said his ideology and his agenda was more important than certifying the legacy of or the ratings or anything else. That was more important than anything else. Certainly more than the fans or Doctor Who. What a bastard.
uh-huh.
I was so hopeful. I was so excited.
I'll see your Doctor Doom, and I'll raise you more musical Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I remember this one. That was a good one.
Dr. Doom 2.
He's a very musical man.
Oh, dude, classic comics. Just some of the best. Some of the best.
Remember when comics used to be good?
Oh yeah. Every Friday night, right, Ironcaster?
Oh yeah. And although speaking of comics, did you happen to see the announcement of the Batman Deadpool crossover?
I did. I have seen that. That looks interesting. I saw Nick comment on that too. That one of the guys writing it, or the artist says this, at least the art will probably end up being really bang on. He's not 100% sure about the story.
Yeah, my first question is how they're going to screw the story up.
Right. Yeah. And if Rob Liefield's not writing Deadpool, do I even really care?
This is just a cash grab, but
Oh,
yes.
it all is. All these Have you seen it? All the major announcements lately have been nothing but crossovers. That's exactly what this is, a desperate cash grab.
It's just
these
going to
guys-
be.
The fact is, though, it's been 20 years since the last Marvel DC crossover, that it does kind of make this thing stand out. And I'll be honest. I actually do kind of want to read it. Like, and I say this is someone who's sick to fucking death of Deadpool. Like, I actually want to see more crossovers like this from the two companies.
And memes, yeah, you're correct. J. Michael Straczynski was awesome when he did Babylon 5.
Oh,
The thing is,
I love Babylon 5.
I love Babylon 5 too, but after you watch it, the entire series, it's kind of like I don't really feel an urge to watch it all again. I don't know why. It's just
season 5 was a bit of a downturn.
Yeah.
It got really rushed too, and a lot of that was supposed to be explained in other series. Well, the spinoffs got canceled really fast after like just a couple of seasons, and that wasn't supposed to happen. And then the books tried to wrap it up as best they could, and it was kind of a mess.
I did not like the follow-on to that one. I forget what it was called, but it was, they were traveling around in space. Huh?
Oh, the little time travel one, the animated one?
Crusade. Yeah, because Crusade was like, I stopped calling it Crusade after I watched the first 3 episodes because it was kind of like Galen the Techno Mage was always solving all their problems. And so I said, dude, we're going to rename this show. Let's rename it Galen the Techno Mage Show because that's what it is. It's Galen the Techno Mage did it again. Galen the Techno Mage.
That's because he was the only smart character out of the whole bunch.
Yes.
Ooh, not wrong though. Not wrong. I do remember watching a few episodes of that back in the day. Oh man.
Except for in the morning honk. Now I'm just picturing. I'm picturing now just the eclectic goat, how her profile is with a goose and like a Sherlock Holmes style outfit with the coat and the hat.
I don't know. Here is some news that popped up. Here is some news that popped up. And this is courtesy of Vera Dark, who is also an awesome YouTuber. And this is something that isn't new, but yeah, apparently now they're putting ads into paid Call of Duty games, and I guess a lot of other companies are considering putting ads in their games and things now. And I'm just like, this is like, I get it. Video games are bigger than movies, and but ostensibly they're bigger than streaming services at this point.
Oh yeah,
but still, putting advertising in it is just like, that's.
Well, can we acknowledge that first off, the whole entire point of actually paying for like any sort of streaming service was to avoid all the ads in the first place. Like I'm on, like my whole family, we're on my little sister's Spotify premium ad, and I still get episodes of podcasts I listen to that will interrupt them like someone mid-sentence, and I hear an ad for like the next 15, 30 seconds. And I'm like, what is the point of us paying these people money if we still have to listen to all these pointless ads of products we don't really want?
Well, because the only reason watching television was quote unquote free was because of all the ads. $5.99 a month was never going to support the industry that produced the television we'd watched prior to streaming, right? Ads were inevitable. You know what I mean? And like, there was no way you could ever support and fund the kind of storytelling. I mean, look at it now. Streaming, even with the funding they've got now, still only gives us, 10 episodes? They were doing freaking Rogaine commercials back in the 90s to give us 22, 23 episodes. You know what I mean? So it's like the landscape, like the money ain't there. That's why it's always been. That's why Disney has to play like funny numbers with their books to go, our streaming service is profitable. Yeah, if you combine Hulu, ESPN, and kind of fudge the numbers on how much you spend on Disney Plus streaming television shows. So yeah, it sucks, but it was inevitable. The only way we could have kept that is if cable and linear television would have still kept going, but they're dying because everybody moves to streaming.
Or don't forget how Disney Plus pays the Disney studio for the movies, so they can say they made money on it.
Pays. I literally took money out of my pocket, out of this right pocket here, and I put it in my left pocket, so I paid myself, so it's all okay.
And let's also not forget that if you sign the Disney Plus subscription editions and then something happens to you while you're on Disney grounds, they're not responsible for it.
Yeah, they ended up settling that lawsuit because they didn't want to see that actually argued in court because I covered that lawsuit. Yeah, they settled that because they didn't want a judge to actually declare one way or another on that one. Because I just don't think it would hold up under scrutiny to a judge. I just don't.
That and they kind of ran afoul of Ron DeSantis in Florida. Disney World is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did.
You don't piss off the governor.
Dude, they're hurting for money. They really are.
They are hurting for money.
Bankrupt. Yeah, they're not going to go bankrupt or anything. But yeah, that's the reason why they're reducing out stuff. That's why Disney parks are offering all of these discounts, and yeah.
Since we're on the topic of, never mind. We'll go with this.
Nah, I'm good for that.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. I like Alex Garland, but does Elden Ring really need a movie?
I mean, it may not, but if you look at the last few video game movie adaptations, Minecraft, Super Mario Brothers, those were successes. So who knows? This may be a success as well.
This won't be as successful unless the main character gets killed at least 50 times while he's trying to fight a boss. And
well, the big thing
what are you talking about as soon as he walks out the first cave?
Yeah.
The big thing you guys have to remember is that right now the gold rush is the video game adaptations, the rights to those.
Yes.
And anything and everything that becomes a very popular, game is going to get film rights done off. I mean, hell, we're getting a fucking Skibbity Toilet movie with Michael Bay directing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. You can tell Michael Bay isn't getting any work in Hollywood right now because he's taking that garbage.
I mean, you look at all the successes come out. Five Nights at Freddy's was profitable before the movie even released. We're getting
that movie was 100% profit for them.
Mm-hmm. Sonic was huge.
Paramount paid for it. Yep.
Sonic was all three Sonic movies have done well. So.
I just hope that they keep it. I just hope that they keep it true to the Elden Ring experience. So you have to knife fight the ushers to get into the cinema, and then everything that's on screen is incomprehensible nonsense. And to piece together the plot, you have to read a note on the bottom of the popcorn bucket and search under the seats for post-it notes that describe what's going on. It's got to be.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that Hollywood is going to get a hold of it, and it'll be something stupid like. The main character is forced to travel everywhere with Ronnie in order to, foment the love interest and all that other stuff. And I'm just, please don't do that.
You're making the mistake though of assuming that it's going to be about the actual game itself and the combat of that. Like, could be so easy to tell stories building up to it, like help tell the story of how that world became corrupted.
I was just thinking the same thing because.
Cool.
The majority of stuff I ever hear about Elden Ring is always the lore behind the people you fight in the games. So
I was about to say, you find out how the world became corrupted through playing the game, and in fact, after you beat, the Shadow of the Erd Tree, you find out who was behind all of it.
But that's my point, though. Like that's the prime material that they could use, that Hollywood would want to use to make movies with.
Maybe.
I don't know. I was none the wiser after I completed that game.
No, we're talking about like trying to fight your way to the movie theater, and now I got the disturbing image of the Gigantor chick all painted in gold, like that. Look like that one monster you fight against.
That's awesome.
I should really be fair with Elden Ring at some point.
It is. It's really good. To be fair with A24 though, A24 isn't one of the big quote unquote AAA studios. For the best comparison in Hollywood either. They're kind of like a double A. And the nice part about A24 is A24 has done really good work. Some of their stuff's been a little odd, but they're also kind of one of those quote-unquote indie studios. But A24's put out some bangers, and they're good at adaptations. Mm-hmm. And they also know they're also on a much smaller budget, right? And if you talk to anybody in Hollywood that's honest, every time they've had a great experience on the set or a movie's been really good, it's because the budget's been smaller. It's tighter. Hell, there was an interview with Jackie Chan last week where he was like, the third Rush Hour movie, huge budget, way too much time, bad movie. It was way too much money. He's like, way too much money. It ruins a movie. You get that much money, it just ruins a movie. Speaking of ruining movies and television shows. But with A24, they're a much smaller studio. It's going to be a much smaller budget. So you've got the potential for it to actually end up being much higher quality. So that's one of the things that I at least hopeful and cautiously optimistic to play devil's advocate at least because it is A24. It's not Disney or Warner Brothers, or Sony, God forbid. Holy heaven.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figure while we're talking about, successful video game adaptations, let's look at some that weren't successful, and this one is chief amongst them because I tormented myself and watched the entire second season. And
you dumb.
I know, but of all the things, that you want, most of the time when video game players and stuff watch a show or a movie, we want it to be faithful to the source. This is one of the cases where we really wish it had deviated a shitload. And of course, Ironcaster's favorite, Halo. He loves Halo.
Oh fuck! Don't get me started.
Now, I do.
You know what? I have to get you back for that now.
Let's be completely honest. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's fucking great.
Oh,
can we be completely and totally honest though? Did we expect anything else for considering what we know about Naughty Dog? Did we honestly expect fucking anything else? I don't know.
So you did bring up.
Can we not pick on the poor girl for her looks? But at least we do have someone who can reprise Sarah Jessica Parker's role in Flight of the Navigator if they do a remake. So.
Was she in that?
Seabiscuit?
There's that. Yes, she was in that.
She was in Seabiscuit, yeah.
No, but but I was going to say really quick, since you brought up that Link meme, I just saw this on X just recently. The Hunter Schafer chick or whoever she is being Zelda in the movie, it's all rumor. That was started by her PR firm.
Okay, so the original.
I guess you didn't see that video.
I fucking love that movie.
Yes.
Yes.
So the origin. Oh, I can pull up the article if I have to. I can't remember it because it was off of a podcast, and it wasn't the other guy that I'm always thinking of. It's another one, but it came off. The rumor initially started on somebody else's podcast, and the internet just kind of ran with it. And then another reliable scooper was My Time, and I think this actually might have been an old rumor. My Time to Shine Hello, which has actually been a pretty reliable scooper. Was like, yeah, no, this is actually a really old rumor, and it's not true. He's not being considered for the role anymore. I think they just said they. But yeah, because it actually originated on somebody's podcast. But it probably did. It probably did come from her PR firm because this is the problem. This is why, because I do rumor mill stuff all the time. I've made a video over this one. But the thing about it is it's one of them situations where you always have to look at who the source is, how accurate they are, and also if they got like a 50% accuracy, but everybody in the industry reports on what they say, that means they are a talking piece for the studios, right? And the studios will intentionally leak information out to these people to see how the audiences react. We know that beyond a shadow of a doubt because we have former Warner Brothers employees who admitted to doing that just to see how the audiences react. So
you know how we react? We react like this.
This motherfucker eating beans. Wait, no, it's not true. It's not true.
that's actually pretty accurate.
What is even the story behind that clip? That is such a random clip. That's like that can't be coincidence. That just someone just said he's eating beans and everyone got shot up.
This motherfucker eating beans.
You just accept it and you will go with it. There are beans.
You just have to look it up, my man. It's not something we can discuss on here.
I'll accept it like I will accept a Halo butt chip.
I mean, if we had Ego on here, he could talk about it with you, but none of us are the right shade.
I mean, I got a black sister and brother.
I mean, I've got some African heritage too, but I mean, it's so far back, I don't think it really counts. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think they just throw that into everybody's ancestry DNA test at this point.
I think so. Maybe it's just to prove a point. It's like
But humans are sluts. Shit happens.
That's true.
All of our bloodlines are mixed, dude. We've all fucked each other at one point.
Whose race hasn't gone through a slut phase?
Add
What happens in the
alcohol.
Fertile Crescent stays in the Fertile Crescent.
How do you think I became a dad in the first place?
Add alcohol, and there you go.
That's right.
Magic happens.
I mean, most of the conquistadors came back with like native wives. So
yeah. I'm a product of that. So
That's a meme that's been going around. Is like it's showing like this is what like the conquistadors saw when they first came to like the islands or whatever. It shows like a very attractive like island woman.
oh yeah, it's like all the waifu, like fucking Native American women. Yeah.
well, I mean,
You had me at waifu.
I knew I would. I guess.
I mean, most of us, would rather have a woman that we can't understand anyway. So
oh no shit. No shit.
Well, who can understand women even today?
point.
That implies they have something. That implies they have something that's worth listening to.
Ow!
Come on now. Now we do like our women on our show though. When Harmony's on, it's always great. We used to have Arwen on, and she was great. And further back, I mean, we had Squeaka, she was great. And hopefully, when we have Goat on Tuesday, she'll be great too. But
Need someone to keep you boys in line.
yeah,
I got Sunker every Thursday and every Sunday. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I got since we're on the topic of family lines, I got German, Austrian, Irish, and then Middle Eastern as well for my ancestry.
Whoa. So you invaded yourself. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Oh my God.
So your
German
people-
Middle Eastern connection. The German Middle Eastern connection actually goes really deep. If you really want to get into
Crusades.
The
Is that what
You
you
had a bunch of-
you're all alone?
Ain't gotta go that kind of
dating?
You had a bunch of Teutonic Knight ancestors that went in there and did some bad things. Came out with some children, I think. But anyway.
Mixed babies are beautiful, so it's okay.
Yeah, they are. They are. All right. Well, let me see. What else do we have on the docket for today? It's actually been semi-slow of a week. I don't know. I mean, have you
We
guys
could talk about-
heard of anything?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What were you saying?
We could talk about the atrocity that is the new Lilo and Stitch movie. That was another thing I was going to bring up.
I hadn't even heard about it. Is it that bad?
The ending.
The ending mostly. Well, first off, they get rid of the big old whale-looking guy from the movie entirely. He's not even in it. And
I
then
heard the other guy doesn't wear a dress because
And
offended.
then the
Well, no,
spoilers
they-
for those who care. Yeah, older sister actually just leaves the little sister behind so she can go to the States and go to college.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why they got rid of Homeboy in a dress is because of Disney's ban on all LGBTQ things in children's entertainment now.
Oh well, I don't know how I feel about that.
I didn't even know they actually did that.
Yeah, so
From when I
can give you
watched the
backstory. Go
preview,
ahead.
when I watched the preview, the only thing that made me not want to watch it was the fact that the guy actually came out and said Agent Cobra Bubbles. And I'm just kind of like, no, that was the best part of the cartoon is whenever she slowly reveals that his name is Cobra Bubbles.
Yeah, instead of just Cobra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus I did not like the how they animated the frick. What was the main alien guy, the evil scientist? I completely forget his name now. It's been so long.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but how they animated him was just ugly.
Oh, well, that figures.
That happens.
Disney ruins everything, man. And
Well,
people are
they have
still.
nobody left with talent.
Yeah, I mean, people kept trying to tell me, well, Daredevil Reborn was really good. And I'm like, was it though?
It wasn't really good. It was all right to good. There were certain parts of it that were really good, and there was a lot of parts that were really cringy and eye-rolling. Sunker and I watched the entire season. And there were some episodes that we loved that we were just like, that is a banger. And then like a couple of the last few episodes were really good. And then there's parts in the other episodes that are great. And then there's just really cringe moments because of like the new characters and stuff like that. And it's just, and then the girlfriend goes complete and total like, no, they didn't save me. I saved myself. And it was just like, I was like, I told you, Sunker. I knew she was gonna. And she's like, I really wanted to like her. And so yeah. So I'm cautiously optimistic for season 2 because the guys that are in charge now are the replacement team that are actually responsible for like the last few episodes. Jessica Jones is coming back. We know Foggy's probably coming back. Karen's back, which means we can get rid of all the annoying diversity hire substitutes.
Oh, good.
So I don't know.
I don't think Jessica Jones is going to do well because let's be honest. What made Jessica Jones good in the first season was the fact that she had such a top tier actor to play against as a villain.
Oh,
But
I'll absolutely admit the first season was the best, but I enjoyed all three, so I really like the actress.
Oh, we got Shinatsky.
Hello, how you happy people?
Hey, how's things over there in the land of sunshine?
Well, the state is no longer on fire.
Oh, good. Did your place
now.
survive?
Yeah,
Good.
Until next year.
Until next year, yeah.
yeah. When it
Now you
burns
just-
again.
Yeah, I was about to say we're about to enter July, or June actually. So.
I was about to say at first when you came in, Shosky, you sounded like Hal, and I was just thinking, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
It's one of those things where every little part of the country has its own unique seasons. Like here, road construction's 6 months out of the year, and you guys have fire season.
Our weather down here is kind of like, it depends on whatever the overarching season is. Like right now it's hot. However, if you don't like that, just wait a couple of minutes and, the weather will change into something else. I mean, I still remember when we had two weather systems impact each other because we had a rainstorm hit a dust storm at the same time. So it literally started raining little mud balls.
That just sounds horrible.
It was like everything was speckled with red dirt.
It's raining mud. Hallelujah.
It was. I mean, we have the weirdest weather here, but I'm used to it. I mean, as long as it's generally a certain degree, it's okay. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh.
We just get a lot of crazy rainstorms this time of year. So I get hurricanes down here every once in a while. I like that though. Keeps it cool in the summer.
I have been enjoying my Apple TV resubscription. I dumped Hulu because I was never using it, so I just said, there's some stuff on Apple TV I want to watch. So I started watching, and I've been enjoying Murderbot. I kind of want it to finish out. Then I've watched some other shows that just kind of I never even heard of because I'm like, well, I've got this for a month or two, so let's watch some other stuff. And I was like, one of the funniest shows I've enjoyed is like Ted Lasso.
I was about to say, I've always heard good things about Ted Lasso, and I see clips of it on YouTube constantly.
I see. Nobody ever told me about Ted Lasso or anything. It just kind of popped up and I just started watching it. I'm just kind of like, this is actually kind of good because what it's about is in England. It's about football, which
Soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
Yeah,
Football.
but anyway.
What you play as hand egg.
Yeah, see, we have a British guy on the show.
And even the British guy is incorrect.
But anyway, this woman
I smelled beans and toast.
Yeah, this British woman, she ends up getting ownership of her ex-husband's team, and in order to humiliate him, she wants to run the team into the ground and watch it fail as hard as possible in order to humiliate him. So she hires this coach who has no experience with soccer whatsoever from like someplace in the Midwest. Actually, he's kind of more southern than anything else. To come, coach the team, and his name's Ted Lasso. And he's like super duper nice. I mean, like he's so positive. He's super duper nice. Like anytime people are trying to shit on him or anything, he's just like the coolest comebacks and everything else. And I mean, he's not mean or nasty or anything. He's just super duper nice. And he just slowly but surely starts turning the team around and winning. And it's been fun to watch. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like
that. It was one of those shows that had a lot of people talking about it last year, and it kind of popped up out of nowhere, sort of like Suits.
I always like it, but we never hear enough about a lot of these little streaming shows, and I'm almost starting to wonder if it's going to become like, I hate to say this, but how we have big budget Hollywood movies versus low budget Hollywood movies, and we have AAA games or quadruple A games versus like independent games.
Yep.
Are we going to have like super duper big dollar streaming series and then like little unknown, lower budget ones that are really good.
Yes, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Oh, yeah.
look at a lot of the YouTube stuff we do. I mean, I'm sure there's channels on YouTube who, out of their own pocket, will put together like entire shows that you could regularly go to,
Like this one.
yeah, like this one. But I was referring to those like ones that take a little time. Shows like Death Battle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's a guy, I forget the channel's name, but he does it's quote unquote not Star Fox, but it's basically, but you can tell it's very much inspired by Star Fox. And it's like a Fox in Space or something like that. I think he calls the series.
Yeah, Fox in Space, and he does it all himself, and he's basically insane for doing so.
Yeah, but I think, but there's usually but he does like full episodes, and he sometimes will show like videos of the process. But it takes like a good year between episodes for the new one to get out there because of how much work he puts into them.
Well, I mean, stuff like that is, I don't know. I think it kind of falls into that category once again of where you see people who are doing stuff because they love it versus people doing stuff because they're profiting off of it.
Well, society is fragmented. It's, at least, I don't know how things were over in the UK. You just had like what, 3 or 4 versions of the BBC. We had like 3 or 4 networks here for the longest time.
CBS, NBC, ABC, and then Fox and FX and
yeah, like another network getting it was a big deal back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. So we had BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. BBC One and Two are publicly funded. BBC One was all the sort of mainstream stuff. BBC Two was repeats and a lot of the in-depth news, science, current affairs, that sort of thing. ITV was the independent channel, and a whole bunch of different like regional studios made stuff for that. Then Channel 4 is a sort of hybrid between the two. It's partially publicly funded and partially funded by advertising.
I remember everything that was Sky TV was really good.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. That's Murdoch's empire, but restrained slightly by UK law from being quite so Fox as it would have liked to be.
Oh, I said a bad word.
Yes,
they're gonna kick Grimm's door in here and take him away. And
no wonder I like Sky TV so much.
But GBB's is worse.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, and the other thing too, like all that stuff's really fractured in the United States as well, not just with the studios and everything else, but it's the same thing with the news media too. Now you have a whole bunch of ones pop up as soon as the ratings started falling with CNN and Fox and MSNBC and everybody else. I mean, you've got News Nation that's popped up. Some big time guys went there, and then you've got just all of the rest of them on YouTube. I mean, there's some guys that get way more views on YouTube for their nightly or daily shows than any of these shows on network television get now.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
we decentralized the whole media situation, and it's beautiful to see decentralized.
I hate to say it, but I get most of my news from watching YouTubers rather than trying to read news, because reading news is like, no.
Well,
everybody wants to put everything by
what
a
it only
paywall,
be
too.
Well, the sad part, I found out a lot of news websites basically do the same thing a lot of YouTubers are. They'll be like the AP or whatever, like official source goes on, and then it's all about rewriting it. So you're not copyright infringing, you're putting your spin on it.
Well, and that's the problem too, though, is if you understand the way the media is, specifically the regular traditional news media, Hollywood's a little bit different, but the traditional news media only got all of their information from 2 sources, the AP and Reuters. Everything comes out of them first before it gets disseminated to anybody else, unless there's like actual literal on the ground reporting by a reporter. So it's been that way for a long time.
And then you can even look the same way with Hollywood, where there aren't the majority of the news outlets like basically owned by the same companies. It's all like Variety, Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I think like the Wrap's the only one that's not owned by the same one, but Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and I think Deadline, which are like 3 of the big 3. outside of the rap, I think those three are all owned by the same corporation. So, which is why you'll see a lot of the same nonsense talking points from all three of them. Which is why people now turn to YouTubers for stuff like that, or Rumblers.
I have a tidbit here that only Grim can really talk about because I haven't played this and I was interested in it, but then all the reviews, including Grim's, kind of made me go, I don't know how interested in this I am. But yes, apparently in June they're going to be releasing the Wicked Isle story expansion pack for your game.
Yeah, I might play it, but I've already completed the game. I tend not to revisit. So we shall see.
I don't know, man. It's just like I want to buy it and I want to like it, but at the same time, everybody keeps trying to say it's like it's not Fallout. Don't be fooled into buying it.
No, it's Quatermass. It's old Doctor Who, maybe Pertwee era. It's John Wyndham. You know, those are its influences. So the 50s was very different in the UK than it was in the US.
Well, I mean, mostly my concern is that the gameplay is clunky and the dialogue is clunky. But.
So the dialogue isn't too bad. The gameplay is a bit clunky, but it kind of fits because you're using these rusted out old weapons that have barely been maintained for about a decade. So that kind of makes sense. And so it feels like it fits.
Oh, okay. Well, first I got to get you to finish whatever you're playing right now so you could start playing Fall of Avalon.
I'm playing Clair Obscur 33.
How do you like that?
I like it a lot. It's giving me a lot of Final Fantasy VII flashbacks.
I'm surprised Ironcaster didn't jump on that.
It's one I want to check out, and I actually left the comment on like something Asmongold said, and like I've gotten hundreds of replies telling me, yes, buy it, game of the year.
I'm surprised you like anything about it, Grim, given how French it is.
That's what I said.
Very French. But then, you know, the Final Fantasy games used to be very, very Japanese. And actually, I think the sort of cultural exploration and so on was something that used to appeal to me about Japanese games. And as they've gotten westernized, you see that less and less. And despite being neighbors with France, there are certain aspects of French culture that I'm not as aware of as I might be. And so becoming aware of those through the game and picking up on different things, different flavors, different ways of looking at things, I find that interesting.
I just find it hilarious that a secret weapon you can possibly get for New Game Plus is a baguette.
What?
I'm dead serious.
It's one of the clothing options as well. A baguette. No string of onions around your neck, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not as bad as a dildo bat from Saints Row 4.
Oh no, those are hilarious. I mean, you know, that was one of the best things about that game was how literally not serious it took itself. In fact, I was going through my Steam screenshots not too long ago and realized I had several pictures from Saints Row 3 because it was so much fun back then. I just haven't been able to get back into it.
Started remembering all those little moments, like, oh, I remember doing this and that. So get a little trip down memory lane.
Let's see. If I want to sell you on Clair Obscur, for as French as the positive, there are evil robot mimes.
Yeah.
The evil robot mimes?
Yep.
Yeah. And t-shirt.
And
it's really
they make it as a bowl.
The whole game is really heavily into feet, so you should really enjoy it.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's a chick with her feet out the entire game, right? And one of the other characters, you collects legs and feet from enemies that he beats.
You're joking, right?
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Was this game made by Quentin Tarantino or what?
I mean,
it was made for Quentin Tarantino.
His
Quentin
game of the
Tarantino
year,
retires.
that's for sure.
It's like I found the peak of cinema and it is Clair Obscura.
Oh, that is fucking great. But no, the Saints Row games were fucking awesome.
Actually, that's the game I should run next. Instead of a zombie apocalypse, it's nothing but just giant feet running around everywhere, and we just watch grim cringe every day. Do
it in the Monty Python RPG.
Yeah,
Giant feet everywhere.
feet necklace.
Did you pick that up, by the way?
What?
Grim, did you pick up the Monty Python?
Yes, I did. I've got it somewhere nearby. It's probably buried under other things.
That's the one Zombicide I wasn't interested in picking up was the Monty Python edition because I'm just kind of like, no.
Not the Zombicide, the role-playing game.
Oh, the role-playing game. You're actually going to run that, aren't you?
At some point, yeah, when I'm allowed.
Okay, yeah, but you're not allowed to because we're having too much fun with Fabula Ultima. Sorry.
Yeah. I just have to start GMing really crap so I can change games.
Yeah.
There you go.
You off it.
There you go. Well,
Well,
I promise you,
you can be stuck in it a while. You're legally not allowed to kill the players.
Yeah. You're not allowed to legally kill the players. So yeah, that's okay. Whenever Ashes Without Number finally reaches me, I will probably start doing that and giving you a break.
Coolio.
Yeah, but until then, I'm enjoying Fabula Ultima. Yeah, you just found out there was a Monty Python. Yes, there is, Goosifer. You're welcome. It's a. I'm not sure if it's a standalone. I think it is a standalone, but it is definitely addable to second edition Zombicide. It's just
yeah.
Do you really want it? Because
if there's not a spell to turn the person into a newt and eventually they get better, I will ride.
I don't know that there is. But.
So I got one more thing to share because it's all that's been popping on my timeline on X has been movie and TV stuff. But I want to preface this by asking Grim, have you ever seen a show called King of the Hill?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, it has been said, I've been seeing, they're planning on doing a revival series that takes place some years after the events of the original. But I don't know how true is this. This is from Toonhive on X. Apparently, the series starts up after they move back from Hank working a propane job in Saudi Arabia.
Supposedly, the video that I've been seeing on X, that's the opening, does show them moving out and then coming back. And they even just have the little COVID masks.
Yeah, it should be dropping, I think, next week on Hulu.
My question is, what are they going to do about Luann? Because, Brittany Murphy's dead, so...
Well, and so is, what was it? The other guy.
For Dale?
The crazy conspiracy dude. Yeah, Dale.
His voice actor's dead?
Too. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a bummer.
We know Dale's going to be in it, but they recast him.
Oh. Gotcha.
I'd be interested to see the storylines they do with Bobby now that he's older, and apparently he's living his dream as a chef in Dallas is what his storyline is going to be during the show. So I think that would be interesting to see how that plays out because I still see all the memes about the episode where he just eats a raw steak in front of a vegan that just dumped him.
Yep. Let's see. From our stand, he has a kid with Khan, who is, so he has like a half Luasian, and supposedly they're supposed to be just like Cotton Hill, which to me will actually be kind of hilarious that there's just an overly racist Luasian talking about how terrible everyone else is.
Yeah. No word about John Redcorn yet, which that will be interesting to see if they even have him as a character in the revival or not.
From what I've heard, Nancy left Dale and ran off with John Redcorn.
Oh, so that'll be the excuse not to have him in it.
Wasn't that a thing in the original series too?
Yeah, that they were having an affair.
Yeah,
they were always having an affair.
The joke of it was that he's into every conspiracy, but the one that's actually going on in his house.
Yeah, and like the one that he can't see directly in front of his face, that his kid looks nothing like him, but it looks a whole hell of a lot like John Redcorn.
I do admit, I love the episode where his own kid goes, "Get away from me, cannibal," because they found that the local tribe, where it's not a very nice Indian tribe, they were one of the murderous cannibalistic ones.
Mm-hmm. He was legitimately one of the worst characters in the show.
Yeah, he's a complete asshole.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
The funny part about that is they're actually like where I live is where the actual cannibal tribes in Texas were. Like all the ones in my area were all cannibals.
Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, surprise. The Native Americans were not one amorphous thing. They were actually a bunch of warring tribes. You know,
Yeah.
white man does not bring conflict. White man brings conflict with him.
Hey, we
if it's
just
a
wanted
twist
to.
between Tex-Mex and Dave down the street. Dave every time.
Yeah. And please remember, we do actually have American Indian representation on our panel.
Oh, who's that?
I don't know.
I'm like a quarter.
I can't imagine who it would be. Ironcaster, do you have any idea who's American Indian
Really?
on the panel?
Oh yeah.
That's the whitest dude on the panel.
Yes.
I mean, I just speak on it because when I was in QA at Electronic Arts, one of the guys I was with, that was named Willie, he was like descended from Crazy Horse, and he was the
Nice.
biggest fucking pothead on the planet.
Why is it that all these people that you meet are descended from like one of the big chiefs or whatever like that? I'm just kind of like, wasn't somebody descended from like, Nahweh, the third person, buffalo hide scraper or something? I don't know.
Unless someone says they're descended from Genghis Khan, then that's probably true.
That's probably true. Yeah.
I just had someone stop by. I gotta get going, guys.
See you later, Ironcaster.
And we're over an hour anyway, so y'all ready to wrap it up?
I have 6 kids. I have no idea how to do that, but sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sure his
Monday through
wife's
Friday, 11
happy.
a.m. I'll be here all week.
all I can say, sir, is your pull-out game is not so strong, is it?
Pull out for what?
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
Don't ever let this guy fly.
Inside.
Don't ever let him fly. Don't ever let Common Nerd fly a fighter jet because he doesn't know how to pull out of a dive.
No, it's literally the line from it's like that beep so good make that pull out game weak from that the here's from the song goes here's some hoes in this house. That's literally like one of the lines from that verse.
Yes, I remember that.
Hunter, how do you know about that song?
It's like when you're I cannot speak for some reason right now.
Get it out, boy.
Because your brain's moving 4,000 miles an hour and your mouth is going 3.
Probably.
I feel that.
But because I remember hearing that audio on loop like consistently on social media.
Okay.
Dude, that song was everywhere in like the late 90s.
It literally was. And especially like I wrote and recorded my own hip hop stuff for like 10 years. So I listened to all sorts of rap music from like 80s, 90s, 2000s, even the crappy mumble rap, a couple songs I actually liked. So
Did you say you write and record your own hip hop?
that is very true. I am not lying when I say that.
I'm suddenly afraid.
It's not like corny Weird Al white boy kind of hip hop, if that's what you're thinking of. No, nothing like that. So,
what else could it be, Hunter?
Well, I start off doing Christian rap, and then that all got really politicized by that part, and so I just kind of was more. I started interacting with a lot of like the Juggalo kind of crowd, and so I did a couple of songs that were more. It wasn't really like all like I'm about to kill a hoe kind of deal. It was more just like I'm pissed off at the world that makes me feel like I want to kill kind of deal. So that's why I started doing it for a little while. Then I had my kiddo, and that all just kind of got put to a standstill. Like the last song I did was it was kind of a power. It was in dedication to Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, White Ranger, all that. So that was the last song I did.
You basically kind of graduated from hip hop to metalcore. That's what happens to everybody. It's like metalcore is kind of like we can't decide what we want to be. We like metal, but this hip hop thing is so popular. We have to include it in our music in order to make sales on our label.
I just always wrote. I just wrote about what I felt like rapping about. I never really had like a topic I would stay on. It's like I just want to talk about that, so I'll write about that.
Well, when you start doing gent, let me know.
What?
Gent. When they play with a really hard chord,
Oh no! I when you said gent, I thought he was like because I actually do highly recommend Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. He does what he calls
he's
tap
good.
hop.
Gent. See? Like I just spelled it for you there.
Right. Yeah, I
Did
thought
you
it was
ever
an American version of Chap Hop, but no.
I think one of my favorite like rap videos I've seen is those two old British guys that are just rapping by kind of one of those old school mics.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it was all over for a while, and it was just really cool and pretty funny too at the same time.
I think I actually. Oh yeah, here you go.
Pretty close.
Great. I've watched a lot of Simpsons and I've never seen that one. That is great.
There you go.
That's
I mean,
accurate. That's so accurate.
yeah, I play on. Well, it's like you probably haven't seen this one either. It's absolutely worth it.
My
That's
God,
right. Well, come on, count it.
That popping noise. The noise that it's making.
Oh, this noise? Damn. I love it.
What? Harder. Oh, yeah.
I've seen other parts of that clip, not that specific part. But yes,
I wasn't quite sure how to react to that, so my laugh is kind of like.
Is it called Beat Your Meat?
There you go.
Meat
slap.
Depraved. I thought it was getting their ass smacked. I guess I know what I do more. Yeah, no, that's depraved VTubers. What did you expect? That's what happens when you get to hide behind a face nobody can actually see.
Hey, we have Dash Attack on here sometimes. He's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
he's wrong with VTubers.
Yeah. I mean, he's a degenerate, but he's our degenerate.
Exactly. Yeah. See, that's how you look at it.
If you have a persona, you're just a pervert degenerate. It's just the law.
I don't really consider him to be a degenerate, although he's beefing with Ryan Roger Athay for some reason, and I'm not sure why. I mean, because Ryan Roger Athay is one of the guys who actually supported me early on before I hit 1,000 subs. So I've never had a problem with him, and now I'm just like, why? How come all these people I know are beefing with each other? I don't get it. But...
Dude, well, I could never understand. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a really bad joke. It's okay. The moment's passed.
Oh, what I've never understood is why is it every single furry seems to just have tons and tons of money? Because those damn fursuits cost like an insane amount.
Yeah,
I've never actually priced one.
I've never. I can't say I've honestly looked them up or anything like that. But now that I know, that pushes me further away from it.
I actually got into a little argument with a VTuber I follow because she posted something about like someone who made like her first model, and it was like I want to say they said the person was like it's so cheap, it's $350, and I'm like $350. Looks at me, middle class warehouse worker. Oh yeah, I could totally afford that if I wanted to do that. Right. But then I see all the drama that because I'm also like VTubing sounds fun. Then I see all the drama and I'm just like never mind.
I mean, some of these big YouTubers and VTubers and all these other guys who live on social media you got to remember they're in an income bracket that not only does it allow them to pursue being on the internet full time as a job, but they also make enough money off of it that they're kind of living in that bubble of wealthy people who, buy the $75,000 watches and then never wear it.
Yeah, and then I also still see them all complain, these VTubers, about I barely make enough money, yet they had all the money to make like their stuff and all that. There's also been a big rise in Christian and MAGA related VTubers as well.
Oh, I can't imagine why. I don't guess our president has anything to do with that. But.
It's not like there's been a shift in the culture or anything. That.
Yeah. But it always catches me by surprise.
Why?
Because I'm so used to the.
How do they operate the machine?
I'm just so used to the degenerate VTubers and the lewd-tubers and all that. I'm so used to that being the norm that whenever I see something that's like, oh, I'm actually more wholesome and kind of family friendly, and I'm actually going to be open about the faith that everyone likes to attack usually in the modern world. That's why it surprises me.
The culture shifted a lot. And there are always going to be grifters that take advantage of that. That being said, not everyone that takes advantage of that cultural shift necessarily is a grifter. What can also happen is people that were not willing to talk about those things before because they were persona non grata and would get you canceled. Now you can come out and talk about those things. And so you're going to see a lot more of that stuff pop up because now it's okay. You know what I mean? It's because the culture has shifted a lot, and we've seen a massive rejection by the majority of the population of this ideology, of all of this nonsense. You know, you want to call it politically correct, woke, spirit of the age, whatever it is, but it's just a shift away from that kind of stuff and back to more traditional values, and all of that comes with it. So
there's
not a bad thing, it's a good sign.
There's also the other kind, which is the rich kid who's like daddy's like a multi-millionaire. In some case, was it Hassan Parker's like has a billionaire father, or some ridiculous amount like that, who basically bought their way into having a shit ton of followers. And then the platform just focused on the first after that point, and it just snowballed from there. They don't actually know our. And I just bring up Hassan, not actually because of his politics, but before his current persona of the ultra left lib, he was like a bro tuber. So I don't believe there's anything real about this person. He just wants the attention of knowing he's popular on the internet, and he had the resources to blow on it.
Oh, that's the thing. A lot of tubers, a lot of Twitchers, a lot of whatever you want to call it. They try to track the money. They try to track which way the algorithm is going, and they adjust their persona to fit it. And that's just the way it is. I mean, when you're surviving on that kind of, let's be honest, guys. If every one of us, every time we streamed was, or was making, like 6 figures a month, we'd probably be trying to chase a little bit of that paper too. I mean, certainly if I was getting 6 figures a month for being on YouTube, I'd probably, be real self-conscious of what the audience wanted, or just whatever I had to do in order to keep, the donations high and keep the ad revenue coming in. It's hot and heavy.
And you're also talking about like the top 1% of the 1% of YouTubers too, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing too. Like there was a statistic that said if you have over like 1,000 subscribers, you're in the top 10% of YouTube. You know what I mean? And if you're over 100,000 subscribers, you're in the top 1%. So people and nobody with 100,000 subscribers is making $100,000 a month. That's not happening. You're talking about the elite of the elite, the Mr. Beasts, I don't know, name your insane VTuber or, whatever you want of those other guys,
I show speed. He's a kick guy, but.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of concept, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you've got fucking 50 to 100,000 people in your chat, you know what I mean? Like you're the top tier of the top tier of the top tier. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things too. So, but yeah, and that's always the funny part too. It's the ones that are at the top are the ones that whine the most. You know what I mean? Because I've fortunately enough been blessed with a really nice chat that I can do this full time. I barely make it by, but I do make it by. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things too. At the exact same time though, like, I bring up memberships in my videos and stuff like that, but I'm not blowing everybody up when we do evening streams and stuff like that. I mean, we've got our things that we do. We've got our, funny clips and everything else that we play for certain things. And, and we'll do drinking streams on occasion and stuff like that. But yeah, it's wild. It's wild how some of those folks they really do forget where they came from, man.
Mm-hmm. You see it all the time.
It's also becomes a big ego trip.
Yes.
And it's the money, I think it's more status. Because after a certain point, you got like, I don't know, 5 million in the bank. Like, you don't have the same perception as money.
No.
And you've got such a ridiculous amount that unless you're really stupid, you're not going to ever be poor in the poorhouse.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, I think they also know how fragile their position is, which makes you paranoid.
Yeah.
And makes you chase that algorithm more. I mean, look at what happened to Boogie. He's got very little left at this point.
Yeah.
Wait,
what does it profit a man to gain subscribers
Boogie.
but lose his soul, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that guy is just, I mean, talk about like the rise and fall. That guy had everything going for him. He had it all, and then it's just like a house of cards, man. It just got tipped over, and he got exposed for who he really was, and outed for all the lying and everything else. And it's just,
well,
or
that's
sometimes
the problem. His house was built on sand, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's the problem. If you don't come into this with integrity, like if you're coming in this, you know, either for bad reasons or because you only want to make money, or because you just happen to come upon this and now you don't know what the fuck to do with it, and now you're like, yeah, now you found the addiction, now you are addicted to the algorithm. So it's like if you don't have a good solid foundation, when you get into anything and become successful, things are gonna end up falling apart at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, there.
Well, that's why
I was watching.
Be honest. It's better just to be honest with your audience right from the get go. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Just like be truthful with them, be real. You know, the best compliment I ever got was from freaking Master of the Total Defense Shogun and Riding Raven, Master of the TDS.
Oh, he's good.
He was like, yeah, they're great people. I had Raven on my birthday stream a couple of weeks ago. But they like the best compliment I ever got was Common Nerd is exactly how he is in person as he is on his videos. I was like,
Yeah.
yay.
I don't get paid anything for this shit. I just do it because I actually like hanging out with some of you.
Yeah, and that's all I ever ask is like I don't pay any of the guests or any of the panelists who come on. It's just I don't make enough money to do it. I don't even. I think I make, you can only get paid from YouTube if you make like $100, and so like I only get paid like once every
few months,
5-6 months, and that's if the donations have been high enough. Usually, and I don't beg for donations. I probably should. I mean, I could sit there and huckster and hustle and just like, all right, smash that like button, and if you like what we're saying, get your comment highlighted and donate some money so we can keep the stream going. And be obnoxious that way, and I could either watch the audience crumble or I could watch the audience flourish. I don't know which way it would go. I don't want to risk it because I think we have a decent audience of good people who are intelligent. They like what we have to say. If they don't kick up any money, well, I mean, that's okay for now, I guess.
Well, that's the other thing about this is the alternative aspect of what YouTube is, and just streaming in general, whether it be on Rumble or Kick or wherever it is. This is the new comic book store, right? This is the new geek hangout, right? You want to go hang out with your friends and a bunch of other nerds. You get on stream together now because now you can find nerds all across the world that have very similar interests to you, and now you guys can all hang out. So as those in real, and it's sad to say because I think in real life, that's why I think the meetups are so important. If you can be part of a meetup, a part of one of these larger groups, go to one because it's very nice to be in a room with people that are all have very similar interests. It's literally like coming home. It's like going to a family reunion of people you actually like.
Yes.
But like that's the nice part about this. Even if this is nothing more than a hobby, right? This is your new comic book store. This is where all the nerds want to just hang out and get together and talk about nerd stuff. So if nothing else, this is wonderful just for that. So it never has to be about making money. I happen to lose my job and didn't have a choice other than to try to make this work. You know what I mean? And then I lost my first YouTube channel and had to start from scratch all over again and yada, yada, yada. But it's like that's the other best part about this is like Friday night comic shop talk, like Nick Weiser and all those guys. Nick doesn't make anything off that stream. It's just, and we've been doing it for like 3 years. We just get together on Friday nights and talk about freaking comics, and it's a blast,
Yeah.
So it
And
never has to be about the money, ever.
And that's all the Weekend Geek ever was. It was, like I told people from the very beginning. It's like being at your high school lunch table with all your friends and talking about all the crazy crap you've seen this week in the comic book store, the gaming store, or on TV or whatever. And, we have fun with it. I mean, I guess in some ways it's almost kind of a release or a release of tension for some folks because they can actually get stuff off their chest about how they feel about certain things. And, and it is a kind of a public media forum, but for the most part, we don't really pick fights with other YouTubers or anybody else. It's just kind of like, okay, we just live and let live. It's like, there's no reason in it. I mean, yes, I've said it before. I could punch up my numbers pretty quick if I just started to take, all these shit takes and going after people hard in the paint and, airing a lot of.
Going after people doesn't always work. Counter example, Condor DM.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Or,
that's just too easy though to go
Ugh.
after Ymir.
or,
No.
or,
It's just such
I
a
really
waste
don't,
of
though.
time and energy. It's such a waste of time and energy. I hate all the infighting. I hate all of that BS. It drives
Same.
me insane. I'm like, you do realize we still got like major dragons to slay, right? Like Disney's still doing their bullshit. Warner
Mhm.
Brothers just cast a Black Snape. I mean, like, it's like
Yeah.
we got all of these other freaking problems to fight, and y'all want to start shit with each other. I'm like, y'all are just stupid. I don't even get involved. I'm just like, nope, not my monkeys, not my circus, man. Nope, not my thing.
I can't wait till they have the scene at Old Hogwarts where a bunch of white kids gang up on the Black Snape and hang him from a tree.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, the race swapping isn't the worst part about that. It's everything else that it entails now.
I wonder what's going on with the casting in that, because when the Harry Potter movies were being made, Rowling was really insistent that everybody be British, or British Isles, shall we say? And yet for this series, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. They're just grabbing people from all over the place. So I wonder, is she hard up for money? Doubtful. Is it that no British actors will work with her anymore? Could be. She's a pretty toxic brand these days. I don't know. I wonder what's going on.
She's toxic in certain circles.
Yeah, but those are the Hollywood circles, though. That's the other thing about that is.
And she's got more money than she even knows what to do with anyway. So it's like she could totally walk away from all this crap. She could sell off the whole Harry Potter IP and go, buy an island in Tahiti or something.
Literally like the richest woman on the planet.
Here's the question of it. What's the deal it has? Like, how much control does she actually have from the licensing for it to be a show on HBO? Because I imagine they have certain says.
She had to sign off on all of the casting. And the reason why I think she signed off on the Snape casting is because, contrary to all the hate she gets from her own side, 99.9% of what J.K. Rowling thinks agrees with that side that is constantly sending her death threats, right? So at the end of the day, she couldn't. I can't guarantee you. This is my theory on what happened. There are obviously still bad actors inside of Warner Brothers, right? We know that because of certain things that have gone on, right? I guarantee you there was somebody inside of that casting department that was like, oh, fuck those fucking all those chuds out there that are Harry Potter fans. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cast a Black Snape. And you know what? J.K. Rowling isn't going to say shit about it. Why? Because if she says no, then it's going to leak and everybody on her own side is going to accuse her of being a racist. So now, not only is she going to be a transphobe, now she's going to be a racist on top of it because she wanted Snape to look like Snape.
I think she was probably gung ho about it because she already was making statements about how, especially with that stage play from a few years ago, about the Black Hermione. It's like, oh, I should have made Hermione black. It's like, or was it I should have had Harry marry Hermione? And I'm like, yeah, if only you were a person who was in charge of writing a book series where you could have made those decisions.
Okay, so that whole Hermione and Harry thing, she's actually not. That's not actually what she said was. It does seem like it works better in the movies, but it doesn't work well in the books. Because if you read the book, there's many reasons why I hate those fucking movies. Those movies are shit. But one of the problems with those movies is all of Ron's heroic lines and scenes were all given to Hermione. So when you go back and read the books and you actually see how much of a hero and how much of a stand-up guy Ron becomes throughout those books, the relationship makes a whole hell of a lot more sense. And so that's through a lens of that. And also the whole black thing was a theater production of her little play thing that she made. Snape also was the first character that she drew by her own hand. And like that is, she has said several times that Snape is her favorite character in the series. So has she said the right, I can't read her mind. It just seems like to me weird that she didn't have to at least pinch her nose when she signed off on that one.
So what Goat's saying, so for the movies, she insisted on having final say for casting. And she wanted everyone to be English, and she got her way. So you have to wonder why this is different, why the contract is different. And the other thing that I think is interesting is that we also had the computer game. She never wanted any games or anything that was playing around in her world. So clearly she's loosened her grip a bit. It used to be like the holy grail for the British tabletop role-playing business scene was we must try and get the Harry Potter license. And they never could because she didn't want people writing stuff in her world. It goes on about they cast a hot snake. It's Harry Potter. It's not Black Snake Moan. All right.
I just don't get how you could because I don't think it honestly matters who you cast as Spade. Black, white, blue, red. No one's going to be better than Alan Rickman.
Yeah, he's dead.
But I mean,
so
yeah.
But we
you have to live up to that potential, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
so not a Potter person at all.
Oh, dude, I grew up with those books. Yeah, I got in like on the third one, and then after that, I was there for every release of the rest of them. I
had the opposite experience. My dad got me, what was it, like the first 2 or 3 Harry Potter books for Christmas. The Fear I Love It. I read the first one, like, it's okay. Like, I've never, I think it's a fine little world, but I've never been like, oh my god, Harry Potter. I'm like, this is all right. I never understood why it blew up the way it did. Snape was my favorite character in the first book. I was like, anytime Snape was on there, I'm like, why are you bothering with these kids? I want more Snape.
Yeah, the books
should cost Noel Fielding as Snape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's
Alan.
I was gonna bring that up. Alan, there was problems with that because Alan Rickman, they aged up all of the parents in that movie, right? Because they're like Harry's parents when they died are supposed to be like 23, 24, 25, somewhere in that age range. And so this is literally supposed to be 10 years after that. So everybody in that parent group should be in like their mid 30s at like the oldest because they all went to school together. And so that's the problem with all that casting is they're all too old to play those roles.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to pick a Snape, I'd probably do Peter Capaldi just because of Malcolm Tucker.
He's way too old.
I know. But just like the amount of chewing out he can do is amazing.
Oh, yeah. He was such a good doctor for some of that stuff too. Yeah, God. Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, so and I remember asking like 20,
down like 35 minutes ago?
Yeah, 30 minutes ago, and then Hunter ruined it by saying something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you on that one. But
it's all good.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
So
but anyway,
the moral of the story is fuck Harry Potter. Thank you, folks. Have a nice day.
There you go. All right, guys, y'all. It's been good seeing y'all, and I hope you'll join us. Grim, are you running tomorrow or?
I am running tomorrow. There is no Tabletoppers tonight because of the Alt-Star Awards, so everyone's off at that. And there's no inappropriate characters because of reasons.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. But, all right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see you Tuesday morning for 2 shows, because we're going to have one show Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And then we're going to have another one at 7 p.m. And the 9 a.m. show, we're going to have this person, the Eclectic Goat, on with Grim and I. Who else we get, I don't know, but they're always usually interesting. So, till then, thank you very much, Common Nerd, for being on with us today, man. I appreciate you. You got an open invite anytime you want to come on, man. I hope you had fun.
Sweet. Yeah, dude, this was an absolute blast. Yeah, I had a great time.
All right. So until then, guys.
Yes.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.